Algorators, welcome back to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Tonight's episode is Redemption, Reputation, and Reckoning. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I have to apologize that court has been out of session a few times, but I keep getting stuck in the airport. As you know, the government shutdown shut me down and all my flights to get back to have the show on Thursday. I thank you so much for understanding, and I thank you for joining us back today. And in fact, let's see who is joining us tonight. First up, is that Caramel 1977 Cancer? Is that Diorsha? Diorsha, is that you? Let me know. Drop down in the chat. Welcome, whoever Caramel 1997 Cancer. All right, welcome LBF 99. Welcome Donna 5387. Good evening. Welcome SL Warrior. Good to see you here. Brenda K. All right, Brenda K. Welcome. You know, a night is not the same without Danielle Cameron. You've been there since the beginning, and we love you for the support. The Lyra Washington, you too. Essie Stone. Oh, my goodness. So good to see you all. Colette Davis. I say Colette Davis looks like a lawyer. I have no idea who she is, but in a picture, she looks like a lawyer. Sandra McGee, thank you for joining us tonight. Guitar Diva, RBA, welcome. Lady Aries, welcome. Tanya McNeil, welcome. Brian and Simone Adams, I was looking for you. Welcome back. Nisha Phillips, welcome back. Welcome. Let's see, did I miss anybody? NY Mari 10-10029, that's in Harlem. I used to live in 10027. Welcome. Rizlan 11, welcome. Dominique Starr, welcome. Everybody, welcome to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Now listen, tonight, the gavel's heavy, and so are the receipts that we got. First up, we have Allison Mack, from a cult recruiter to now a podcaster. I guess everyone's getting a microphone. Says she's here to heal, but is this redemption or rebranding? I want to know what your thoughts are on that. Lil Uzi Vert beats a sexual harassment suit, but did he settle the score or just silence the story like most celebrities do? Katt Williams, wow, he walks away from a $20 million brawl case, proving once again that chaos seems to always be his co-star. Finally, Russell Simmons is accused again of sexual misconduct, unpaid settlements, and decades of predatory power plays. And last but not least, tonight, we're going to try something different. We're going to introduce a human interest story. And guess what? It's about a Rhode Island prosecutor who goes viral for all the wrong reasons, proving even lawyers aren't above the law. Now, listen, tonight we're putting reputation, redemption, and reality on the stand. And guess what? You are the jury. Now, this isn't gossip. It's judgment with a side of shade. Court is now in session, and joining us tonight, let me introduce the legal people that are joining us. We have Jason Weiss, Shatan Turner, Sean Carter, and Ashley Carter. Counselors, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Hey,
Hi, Maddie. Happy to be back.
I did have a great birthday, by the way. People were asking.
Oh, yeah. How was your birthday?
Amazing. I celebrated from Wednesday, which was my birthday, through Saturday, and I've decided I'm celebrating until the 22nd because I have a series of parties.
All right, counselor, please understand that you are under oath now that you are in my court. Did you get some on your birthday, Miss Turner?
I wanted some on my birthday.
Drake didn't pull through? Ow.
And he didn't pull out.
Okay, well, there's
all right, pulling out. Allison Mack, she went from cold to clarity after serving time for her role in the NXIVM cult. Do y'all remember that? Smallville actress Allison Mack has reemerged with a new podcast about control, trauma, and healing. She says she's not accusing her past. She's not excusing her past. Sorry, she is explaining it. But critics call it exploitation disguised as enlightenment. Now, listen, I want to go to you first, Attorney Sean Carter. This is what I want to know. I'm sure you're familiar with this case, but should convicted criminals profit? This is the interesting part. Mm-hmm. Should they be able to profit financially or publicly from telling their own crime story.
Now, here's the thing is, I think some of you heard about this. This is called the Son of Sam law. It actually started in New York. I think she's subject to New York jurisdiction. And basically that law says, hey, you can't go out there, commit some horrible act, and then write $1 million bestseller based on that. If you do, you got to give the money back to the victim.
Right.
Now, her case, but the problem is that Son of Sam law was overturned, and so New York had to kind of rewrite it and make it wishy-washy. And so what it says now is that if you're talking about a crime you committed and a bad act you did, that's one thing, but you got to give the money back. But on the other hand, if you're just talking about how you've learned and grown from it, how you're going through therapy, how you're now drinking a tea and you're getting some of those Gwyneth Paltrow hoo-ha candles. That's fine. Right? If you're using it for therapy to sort of reevaluate yourself, and I think she's going to argue that she's the victim too, right? Because just be clear, those of you who did not see the 2 documentaries, and I saw both of them because I was studying them. I'm trying to get my own sex cult. All right. And so what happens is that she got underneath this guy named Keith Raniere. And he was this guru guy who started this multi-level marketing business and also a cult in which he was getting the women in there, branding them, et cetera, and she was recruiting. So she ended up getting 3 years in prison. She served 2 for her acts as far his henchman. She was sort of his number one, his bottom B. And that's the best way to put it, right? She was his pimp, pimp assistant. And so, so she's going to argue that she was a victim too. She was trafficked too. It's going to be bad.
Jason, I don't really like this idea of her saying that she was a victim too, and now that she's making money, it seems to me that she got smart about what the law is and circumventing that law. She's now using this as a therapeutic exercise. But my question to you is, as a counselor, as a father of a daughter, can rehabilitation and restitution truly coexist in the entertainment spotlight?
Sure, why not? I mean, look, if she's making this money and is donating it, some of it to a good cause, giving it to...
But what about the people she hurt, counselor? What about the people she hurt? We can't pretend like she did not use her influence as an actress to recruit people in to be harmed.
I understand that. And that's what the Son of Sam law in New York was supposed to do. It was supposed to be that if you are profiting from something that you did wrong, then all of that money went to the victims. Now, what Attorney Carter said is that he didn't say it's gone completely. He said it's now wishy-washy and kind of weak. So there could be a part of her restitution, because she only served 21 months out of the 3 years. There could be a part of that says, if you go ahead, you make money off of this, you do this, certain money needs to be given back to the victims. Now, remember, when you are convicted of something and it is something that is wrong and you are ordered to pay restitution, they don't care if you're flipping burgers at a burger joint or if you're going on national TV and making a ton of money. So that money needs to be given to the victims, and there's going to be some sort of formula or some sort of way to get to the victims. It's not all being kept by her. No way.
Got it. Let's go to you, Attorney Turner. You have a beautiful daughter, absolutely beautiful. If she was brought into this cult by this young lady, what would your sentiment be? Do you think the victim still could sue for emotional distress or have civil damages tied to this bull crap of a podcast?
I would take the case for the reason that Attorney Weiss indicated. There is an opportunity to craft an argument that would entitle them to restitution, and you could circumvent the whatever restrictions might exist for the reasons that you mentioned. I was in the cult would be the argument. I was trafficked. This caused me emotional distress. It was a crime. It was intentional. And you would have all of that. I mean, one thing, I shouldn't make light of it, but I just got, the Handmaid's Tale where they had those outfits. I just got a vision of a transgender sex cult with everybody in the slips, and I just can't ignore it.
Everybody in the slip. Yeah, you're right. But you know what really is pissing me off about this is, so the question to me is, here, is it just legal? It's moral, right? it feels like she's not owning her past. It feels like she's found a way to monetize it, and that's the part that's making me itch. Is there anybody else, Allison? Ashley, what are your thoughts on this?
I think you have to look at it from the perspective. I mean, you know, Kim Kardashian had a sex tape and flipped it and made a whole reality career. You know, she's a whole mogul with various products. Her family has benefited off of it. I think people do stuff all the time they probably shouldn't do. And then they own it publicly and they figure out a way to monetize it. I mean, she's doing a podcast. I'm surprised she's not doing a reality show.
But hold on, counselor. Order in this court. I can't. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. There's a difference between doing a sex tape with Ray J and monetizing it than serving as a lead recruiter of young girls who are being taken advantage of.
I get it. She's the
Jermaine Maxwell. She was right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's not like people do bad things all the time. This is horrible. And now for her then to say that she's helping people heal, what?
America loves a comeback story, though.
Yep.
And she's an innocent-looking Caucasian girl who looks younger than she is, and so she's going to claim, as Attorney Carter said initially, I was a victim.
I get it. I get it. But look, not in this court. Not in this court. Redemption will not be used as rebranding in this court. I'm sorry. I don't like it. Counselors, I understand, but not in this court. All right. And speaking of legal miracles, Lil Uzi Vert just moonwalked his way out of a harassment suit faster than one of his ad-libs. Let's unpack that legal beat drop. All right, Lil Uzi Vert is case number 2, the harassment case that vanished. It vanished quicker than the alcohol that was served at Diddy's prison.
Allegedly, his lawyer said that he was not.
Allegedly, I know y'all saw that campaign. You know, y'all saw that campaign where they said it never happened. All right. Anyway, the sexual harassment lawsuit filed against Lil Uzi Vert and Roc Nation has what? Poof, disappeared. Now, their accuser, a former employee, has just quietly dropped the case after what insiders believe was a confidential settlement. Ooh, wonder how many millions she got. No statements from either camp, just silence and side eyes. All right, let's go to you, Attorney Turner. Tell me, when a harassment case, which got all this exposure, disappears, what does a dismissal really mean? Is it innocent? Is it influenced by maybe being money? Or can she ever really bring the case back? I mean, once she abandoned it, does that mean that she can't bring it back later?
Seeing my colleagues go like this, I just think of that old song, money, 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 right? Money. There is, when things do not make sense, follow the cash, right? And so what this means is, despite having a bad hairdresser, Lil Uzi Vert had a good lawyer, and that lawyer helped him dispense with this.
Wow!
Case. Look at that. But helped him dispense with this case in a way that mitigated the harm to his brand and allowed those purported victims to benefit.
Okay, Attorney Jason Weiss, how do the NDAs and hush settlements shape justice for alleged victims, especially in the celebrity space? Does it mean that she can't ever bring it back up again? They're good for life? What's the deal?
So it depends on how the settlement was reached. If it's a settlement where it's a dismissal with prejudice, that means never can bring it up again. You're completely barred as long as both sides do what they're supposed to do. So he probably had to pay money. She probably had to take a piece of duct tape, put it over her mouth. She can't talk about it anymore. That's what it is. Cannot cooperate, cannot bring a class action, cannot do anything. The only thing that she could do is if she ever got subpoenaed and compelled to testify in a criminal matter, she would have no choice but to do that, because you cannot.
Which is what happened with Cassie, correct?
That is correct, and that's why I brought that up. So what this means for her is she was paid a certain amount of money to basically just say, And if she is questioned about it, she probably is allowed to say something along the lines like, it has been settled, it has been resolved, or there is nothing more going on. And that's probably all she's allowed to say. If she does saying more than that, she has now breached her confidentiality portion of the agreement, and chances are she can be gone after for a return of a portion of the money or a monetary penalty for it, like $50,000 for every time she says his name.
Something right. Oh, I know about that 50,000. Anyway, before I go to you, Attorney Carter, Danielle Cameron said Uzi did it. He probably tried to wrestle the girl's purse out of her hand. And it was mistaken for sexual assault. Daniel Cameron, you are wrong. Colette Davis said he's a hot mess. Brenda Kay said he needs to pick up a Bible and read it. What the heck was that picture? A demon. SL Warrior says, what's with the blush? Essie Stone said he looks like Freddy Krueger. That's you though. That's the lawyers. My bad. Christine R. Oh, Christine R. Child, these young people are lost. Where is Jesus when you need him? All right, let's go to you really quickly, Attorney Carter, Sean Carter, and Ashley Carter. If you want to, you can add on to this. Does public silence protect your reputation, or does it bury accountability? And who really cares on this side of the law?
I'm going to tell you, Lil Uzi Vert obviously thought that, you know what, I'm going to settle this thing in 17 days. All right. It took 17 days for him to get that blush off his cheek. All right. I don't know how they decided they're going to settle this. No discovery, no filing. I'd make it prove something, right? But the bottom line is obviously he did that. And here's what the celebrities don't seem to understand is that when you settle the case within, I don't know, less than a government shutdown, all right, nobody is going to believe you. I'll give you an example. Everybody remember Diddy? When he settled that case with Cassie and gave her that money within a day, I knew that he did it. All right. Same thing with Shannon Sharp. He can tell me he can tell me all his grandmama stories and how he and Ocho, you did that, Shannon. I know that because you paid the money in 2 days. All right.
Right.
And so to me, it's like you at least got to pretend. You know, let me forget. Because think about it. Lil Uzi Vert, little AK Vert, old dirty bastard. You know, there gonna be 30 rappers who do bad stuff in between. I'll forget about it if you give me 2 weeks. All right, but he didn't give me 3 weeks. Give me 3 weeks.
Deliria Washington said, straight ass weird. Nisha Phillips said he could come out the closet. Ashley, what are your thoughts on this case?
Well, correction. See, what's his name? Club Shay Shay did not actually settle immediately. That was part of the problem. He waited and still ended up paying.
No. That's not true. Remember, when she first came with the claim, he offered $10 million immediately.
No, I know that.
However, she didn't take it. Therefore, when she went back in for double, triple, that's when he started to oscillate.
Yeah, but I think because when he offered the 10, she wanted more. So she decided to just file it. I think at that point, she just felt like she had nothing to lose. But to the bigger point of what you're asking in terms of does it hide accountability? Of course it does. But at the end of the day, when your statute of limitations have passed, or you don't think you'll be believed, or you don't want to relive this all in a courtroom, I think victims have to decide what's more important, closing it out and at least getting something, or trying to fight, the court of public opinion and get up on the stand. Trust and believe, Cassie did not want to get back up there. After she received her money, she got money from Diddy's insurance policy. She got, I think, another 10 or 20 million from the hotel. I mean, she got 2 settlements. She was more than happy to move on with her life. As you mentioned before, she had to testify. And so it's just interesting that as much as we do these things with civil suits, it doesn't preclude criminal liability. So Uzi better hopes this doesn't spin the block and he's back on the stand.
All right, let's go to the algorithm. So was this a legal win or just another quiet payoff in hip hop's HR department? I love this question. All right, algorithms, jump down in the chat. Answer this for me. Is this a legal win or just another quiet payoff in hip hop's HR department? I don't want to be nowhere working in HR department for hip hop. Baby, it is too much going on. It is way too much going on. Speaking of too much going on, while Uzi's settling off the record, Katt Williams just walked out of the court swinging, legally clean, and socially, we've got to give it to him, undefeated. Now, Katt Williams, the $20 million is down but never out. The comedian beat a $20 million lawsuit after 2 women accused him of assaulting them during a nightclub brawl. Now, the interesting part here is the case was tossed. No evidence, as well as inconsistent testimony. Now, Katt called it a victory of truth, or maybe for turbulence, too. My question to the lawyers, and I'm going to go to you first, Attorney Sean Carter. Tell us what really happened here, and why are civil assault cases so hard to prove without physical evidence in this case?
Okay, so let's get to what happened. All right, we're talking about, this is 2016, February 2016. Katt Williams is hanging out at the Hookah Hideaway Lounge. And 4 women come to him and say, "Oh, you Katt Williams, let me touch your perm. You know, I want to get pictures and all that stuff." I totally get that. I would do that too. I want to touch your perm. My wife got natural hair. All right, but the point is this, though, is that I ain't touched the perm since about 2004. So anyway,
the shade.
I know. The point is this, though, is that they say that all of a sudden after taking these pictures and stuff, he got violent and crazy and hit one of the women. And then his entourage, which remember, he has all female security, they start taking off their shoes and whooping these women with his shoes and throwing phones at them. And that when they finally get out, they go running for their lives. They get out to the car and they say Katt sort of pulled a gun on them. Now, I don't know if any of this happened, but here's what I do know. If it did happen, you got to bring your case before 7 years, because it took them to 2023 to decide that they're going to, go ahead. And I guess when they saw that Club Shay Shay thing, they said, we got some money now. Let me go after Katt. Katt had money back then. All right, you should have gone after him then. That was 3 Netflix specials ago. And so the court said, hey, girl, I don't know how to tell you this, but you are 5 years too late. Oh, and I know you pay your rent like that, but you can't file your cases like that. Dismissed.
All right, well, let's go to you, Attorney Turner. Can repeated allegations, even when dismissed, still tank or be brought back? Like, I need to know.
You need to know for personal reasons. You need to know. don't disclose. Yeah, do not disclose that on here. That would be my recommendation. But patterns and practices of behavior can be used to strengthen a case. And so you can't use it for proving conviction, right? But there's X number of lawsuits on the same topic. Nothing precludes the lawyer from pointing it out. You'll get an objection, but it still lands and it still makes sense to bring it up because there is some ability to show that there's a trend. And I want to say that, as we saw, one of the things that was enlightening about the Diddy conviction, right, is the judge said specifically that he was considering evidence presented that was not used to convict. And so that's a lesson for all lawyers going forward. If you're in federal court where that rule exists, that it behooves you to throw it in if what you're trying to do is to get some sort of sentencing that you think is more appropriate than what you might win on conviction.
Got it. Danielle Cameron says, oh my God, Katt Williams is too short for these shenanigans. You got to be 5'5" and up to cause this much trouble. Oh, and she went harder. She said, not Katt, whose ankle height hitting on women. Brenda K says the Katt man wins again. In this case, he should have. And then SL Warrior says, Katt girls squared up. Before we move on, Jason, let me ask you this. Does fame attract false claims or does it enable bad behavior?
Oh, I think it does both. I think it absolutely, when you have fame, you have a bullseye on your head, your back, your neck, and everything else. And people are attracted to you and they want to see you and they want to do and they want to go ahead and get from you. But it also, just like we'll hear in a story later on, I am so-and-so, I'm above the law, I should be treated separate. How dare you not recognize me? So that is, the mentality. So there's a balance, right? You've got a bullseye and you also got a big head. So, you got to be careful when you walk in any room and you need to check your ego at the door and you need to be extra careful when you do have some celebrity status.
Now, I want everybody to understand this isn't Katt Williams' first time with the tussling with the folks. He has a pattern. The pattern to me is almost a personality. But Katt Williams might be the only man who treats lawsuits like tour dates. Like he literally will go into the city, fight it, and win. I've never seen anything like it. Do you think it's the Napoleonic complex or something, Ashley Carter? What are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are: is it true? Does he really have an all-female bodyguard staff? That's strange.
I thought that was interesting.
I thought that's really, I've never heard of that, but perhaps that's true. I do think at some level, when you are of a shorter stature, you do feel like you have to overcompensate. I don't know if it's all true that he, brandished a weapon or, fought them along with his female security guards. We weren't there. And they waited too long to file the case. And I don't know how strong the other witnesses that had to be there that night were presented to this judge. But at this point, they're not going to be able to ever bring it back moving forward.
All right. Christine R. says, Al, have you ever pulled the "Do you know who I am" card? Child, that wouldn't help me nowhere. Maybe in church.
He tried to use it at the Congressional Black Caucus.
I sure did.
So a little story time. We get there, right? And so I'm like checking the list, and I'm like, well, where's Al's name? And the lady was like, oh, I already know who Al is. You'll be fine. Just stand to the side.
Right.
And then we try, and then Al shows up, and then some other woman pretends like she didn't know who he was.
And the other woman that who is running the party, who act like she didn't know who I was. I had dinner with her the night before. I was like, oh, you weirdo. So I told Ashley, I got mad, guys. I said, follow me. We went straight to the front of the line. Another friend was going in. We went in. They gave us VIP stickers, and I waved it in her face as I passed by. I was like, now try to keep me out again. That's right. No, Christine, back to your question. Doesn't kind of work like that for me, but maybe soon. All right, now let's shift from laughter to legacy. This is so sad because Russell Simmons just proved that time doesn't always heal. Sometimes, in his case, it just exposes. Case number 4 tonight is Russell Simmons, settlements, secrets, and silence. Now, new accusations claim that Def Jam founder owes millions in unpaid settlement to women who accuse him of sexual misconduct. Now, the Rolling Stone report paints a decades-long pattern of exploitation. Oh my gosh, it just gets worse. Simmons says it was all consensual, and that's his being targeted in the post-Me Too witch hunt. All right, Attorney Turner, let me go to you. If you settle a case but don't pay the full amount, can the accuser, because this is something I've always wanted to know, just because you win a case, and help their algorithms know, just because you win a case, especially if it's civil, does not mean that you will necessarily get paid. So the question is, if you settle a case but don't pay the full amount, can the accuser reopen the original claim to get paid the money that they didn't get?
So there's a lot to unpack there. Settlements are about compromise. So when cases are settled, nobody gets what they could potentially achieve at verdict generally, because otherwise the other side has a chance and an incentive to litigate it in order to try to win, unless the facts are just so bad for them that they don't want to try. So if a case is settled, there's an agreement, and the agreement indicates that they waive all claims of the enumerated entities. And so the only way they'd be able to sue somebody is if for some reason one of the entities wasn't enumerated, but that would be a mistake on whoever drafted the agreement.
Okay.
So, Your Honor, you can also put in what's called a kicker. That, let's just say you go ahead and you have $100,000 case and you settle it for $50,000, right? If they default on the payment of that $50,000, you can go into the court, and not only can you get your 100, you could also get attorney's fees and costs. Now, it's all going to depend on the collectability of the defendant, right? If you can collect from them, awesome, go get it. Russell Simmons, he is in Bora Bora. I don't believe there's any extradition from there. No. So good luck trying to collect. The only way you can get money from him is if it's in a bank account here in the United States or somewhere where you can go ahead and get it. But you ain't getting that money if it's in Bora Bora.
Okay,
so he doesn't want to pay.
Got it. So let's go to you, Attorney Carter, real quick, because this is my question. a lot of times with settlements, tell me if I'm wrong, when you do a settlement and you agree to pay the victim, you also have a confidentiality clause, right? Like they can't mention certain things, they can't go to the press. How enforceable are the confidentiality clauses once the settlement's been breached? Does that confidentiality clause that you agreed to because you thought you were going to get your $3 million, are you still bound to that?
No, and here's why. Because it's not that you breach the confidentiality clause. What these people are doing is they're bringing a new claim. And so when you go to court and you bring a new lawsuit, it's a contract claim. And you're not saying anyone hurt me. You're simply saying he agreed to pay me this amount of money, and therefore I'm entitled to this amount of money. And so it becomes just as if, you owe me $50, which I think you do, by the way, Your Honor. But we'll go on that off camera. And seriously, and so it becomes the kind of thing where, and this is where Russell messed up, because right before then, he was saying, I didn't do none of this. And we didn't really know how much he had settled it for. Now, here's why I'm almost sure he did it. And thank you, Bailiff, for putting this picture up. 20 women. He could not have had consensual relationships with 20 women. All right, look at that man. All right, 4, 6, maybe 8. All right, drunk women with cataracts. But 20 women did not voluntarily get on top of that. I'm not going to believe that.
Counselor, what are you saying?
I'm saying that Russell Simmons, by law, is too ugly to get 20 women consensual.
Attorney, money makes you more handsome. That's the difference between men and women. That millionaires are fine de facto.
Yeah. Wow. You don't have to be tall. You don't have to have an attractive face.
And if you're a billionaire, does that make you hot?
I think so.
Hot to me if you're a billionaire, baby.
That face pose is not that attractive.
But one thing that, just to couple what Attorney Carter said, is that the fact that he did not pay, it is now a breach of contract. That confidentiality is out because you are allowed to put that agreement into the public records, into the court records, because you're moving to enforce them. So now all of a sudden you had this secret document, not secret anymore. Cat's out of the bag, no stuffing it back in.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Like, in essence, what you're telling me is because he's in Bali, I mean, these ladies they're out of luck.
Yeah.
There's one thing, and here's it, is that you're right. They can't necessarily go get his money out of Bali, the bank account. But to the extent that Def Jam still owes him money here in the U.S., they can attach U.S. assets. So if you got your property here, etc. So he's not totally out of the woods, but certainly every dollar that he's been able to get out of the country, he probably can keep, as long as you don't want to come back.
And Al, the word on the street, Al, is that he's coming back because he's already settled some suits. It looks like he's on his way back. So
yeah, but he's not paying them. He's not paying them.
But it seems like he's setting himself to come back. I don't think he plans on living in Bali for the rest of his life. And to Sean Carter's point, when you get a judgment, there's no ATM machine in the courthouse. You have to find a way to attach your judgment. And so yes, if I was these women's attorneys, whether it be for the contract or for the assault or whatever, I'm gonna look for everything you own or anything your company owns, and I'm gonna try to attach any asset I can find, because that's all you can do. Otherwise, you just have a judgment.
Attorney Turner, can the courts drag him back to the United States in any form or fashion?
Not from Bali, because they don't have extradition with the United States. If he were in another country, because we've seen that happen. I think a couple of weeks ago we were talking about somebody who got extradited from Dubai. Yeah.
Antonio Brown.
Oh,
yeah, he got himself into trouble again, right? Recently. But I just wanted to say, like, the hip hop industry needs a PR rep. Right? They have a bad reputation now. It's like hip hop means can't stop, won't stop, sexual misconduct all day, all night long.
Right.
We've just had a steady stream of them. And so I don't know about, the legal system, but the court of public opinion is just calling nonsense on the whole thing and saying, look, y'all need
enough is enough.
Together. Exactly.
Well, not in Danielle Cameron. Danielle Cameron says anybody with money can get my Tussie Cat. I throw that thing in for groceries. You ain't lied. I'm right behind you, Danielle Cameron. Times is hard. Y'all got me messed up.
Groceries
All
are up 12% since last year. So I'm not going to say on camera what Danielle said, but girl, I see you.
All right, I see you. All right, Pete Montel Singer says Drew Dixon had Russell Simmons served in Bali. I saw that. Yeah, that's true, but I don't think anything ever came of it. Nisha Phillips says, shit, women will spread them legs for anything with some money. Hell, Biggie had Little Kim and Faith fighting. You ain't never lied about that. I still can't figure that one out. I swear to you, I can't figure it out. Let me keep moving before I get in trouble. All right, and finally, speaking of justice, when a prosecutor, who's actually an attorney general, becomes the headline, who prosecutes them? Rhode Island's viral DA found out the hard way. Yep, Devon Flanagan. Welcome to Celebrity Court. This is our human interest story, which I'm going to try something new. Drop down in the chat because I want to know what you guys actually think about this. And I did this intentionally because we have lawyers on the panel, and I want to know because sometimes, just like doctors, lawyers feel like that they are invincible. All right, from prosecutor to defendant in the court of public opinion, Rhode Island prosecutor Devon Flanagan was suspended 6 months after her DUI arrest went viral. She told officers that they regret it. The state said her behavior damaged public trust. Now she's apologizing and promising reform. Bailiff, take it away.
I want you to turn your body cam off. Protocol is that you turn it off. If a citizen requests it to turn it off,
So they want you guys to leave?
yes, we're gonna
Let's just leave. Let's just make it easy,
We're gonna
okay?
leave. We're gonna make it easy.
No, that's
Are you
not.
with them?
I am.
Okay.
I'm her That's not husband. the point. Can you look at me?
Yeah, we'll talk over here, okay?
Your protocol is.
Can we all talk? Can we all talk?
We'll talk
for a
over
second?
here. They want you to leave.
Your protocol is.
Can we talk?
Who is she to you?
What's that?
No,
Who is she to
nothing.
you?
Nothing.
She is our college friend.
Okay. She's a friend.
Yes.
No, I'm not.
You guys just want him out? Do you want him trespass?
Anything we can do. Trespass, yeah. I just need
Trespass, get him out.
cuff him, please. It's the only way we're gonna
Okay.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Do we want to chat?
I know that your
All right.
protocol is.
So you're trespass, so we gotta leave now. Unless you want to be in
We're not
handcuffs.
trespassing. You haven't notified us that we're trespassing.
So
Number one.
what did I
Number
just
two.
say to you? You're
You're
trespass.
number
Let's go.
one. Number one.
I don't
Number
want to
two.
arrest you guys.
You're not going to arrest us. Number two
So let's
is
leave.
that
We gotta go. We gotta go.
protocol
Let's go.
is
Let's
the
go.
calm down for 1 second. Is if we
Yeah.
ask you to
I
turn
don't
the
want.
body
I don't
cam
want to
off.
deal with this. Let's
Okay.
go.
No, I understand you don't want to deal with it,
Okay,
but the
let's go.
protocol
Wait,
is, and your protocol is
you
if I ask you to turn off the body cam, you have to turn it off, and that's your protocol.
She's a lawyer, so she knows.
Well, that's bullshit lawyer stuff, so that's not true. So we gotta go.
No, it is. That's law.
I'm an
What's she
AG.
saying?
I'm an AG.
Good for you. I don't give a shit. Let's go. We're going. Let's go.
Excuse.
We're leaving.
Please don't.
We're leaving.
Please don't put your hands on us.
Can you get your children out of here? Like, I don't know why.
I'm sorry. What?
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Come on, you're wasting our time.
They're two full-grown women and mothers of children. All right.
You're just being detained. You're just being detained.
I'm an AG. I'm an AG. But you're gonna regret this.
Yeah.
You're gonna regret it. I'm an AG.
Put her in.
No!
Get back. Get back, bro. In the car. Get in the car. Get your feet in the car.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Get your feet in the car.
Dan!
Hey, I'm right here.
No! Dave! Dave! No!
Get your feet in the car.
Who the
Get
Don't
your
touch
feet
me!
in the car. You're a grown adult. You're acting like a kid.
Dan!
Hey,
Dan!
I'm right here.
No! Who the fuck are you? This is so
You're
inappropriate! You're overreacting! Dan!
There's so much to unpack here, and this is why I chose this as you can put us on the main stage, Bailiff, please. There's so much to unpack here, and this is why I chose this as a human interest story. And I want to go to what Christine R. said. Christine R. said, Black women would never have been given that much grace. And I got to say, guys, from what I've seen and been watching on YouTube, absolutely not. Sean Carter, let's go to you real quick. Explain to the algoriters, and I want the algoriters to jump down into the comments here because let's see. Colette Davis, I knew you were a lawyer. As a lawyer, oh no. Colette Davis says, as a lawyer, she should have de-escalated the situation instead of escalating it. Sean Carter, explain to us exactly what happened here so that the algoriters know what happened. And then take me to the point, and Jason, I want you to tell us, is it true that when she said if a citizen asked to have the body cam turned off, that they in fact get that privilege? Let's start with you first, Attorney Carter.
All right, so you can tell what happened. Remember, he even said it. This is her old college friend, husband and wife out with the old college friend. And he's thinking, I'm gonna get them drunk and we're gonna have a threesome. Don't act like you know that's exactly the context here. That's the subject.
What? Wait a second. What is going on in my court?
That's exactly, and then that's why he's mad, because he's trying to get home for the threesome. He got, girls, come on, we got stuff to do, and they want to argue with the cop. All right, and then you notice that when he put his wife in the car, she keep yelling for him. He's like, I ain't going to help you. No. All right, you don't mess up the threesome now. All right, so to the hell with you. I'm going home. All right, and in seriousness, her problem is it happens to people all the time. She got narcissistic amnesia. When you start asking people, you know who I am? Because you forgot. And the cop wasn't impressed here. And he wasn't impressed because, quite frankly, she wasn't that good of a lawyer anyway. Because as Jason's going to tell us, she just making up law.
Right, Jason. Now, I want to talk about this because I have been, obviously, you're a friend of mine a long time. You were in my wedding. Shaitan and I have been friends for 20-some plus years. I have a lot of friends that are lawyers. And sometimes, especially if you work in the prosecutor's office, you just show your badge, you settle it with the cop respects you. You know, he says, okay, listen, y'all need to at least move out of the property. Like, you need to go the freak home. What is she talking about? Is it true? Was she stating the law as an AG? Why hasn't this gotten her into any trouble?
So first of all, that is not true what she said, right? So if you ask for the body cam to be turned off, there are circumstances when you're a witness, when you're afraid to be identified, if they're taking a witness statement, it all has to do with the person who is involved, but not the person who is the suspect or the person who's been looking on, may have some fear for their safety. They may not want to give a witness statement if the camera's on because they want it blurred, they want their face covered, they don't want to be identified. But for you to just say, I'm a private citizen, you have to turn that body cam off, that's the complete opposite of why the body cam is there. The body cam is there for accountability. They want to make sure that they did everything right. They need to follow the letter of the law. They don't want something thrown out. Now, this AG, she decided to take the warning from the officer, and he said to her, you have now been trespassed. You need to leave. If she would have said, you're not going to hear the end of this, I'm an AG, blah, 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 and walked away, that's how it would have ended. She escalated this. She allowed it to get to this point, and she now suffered the consequences. And it's interesting because her friend, who did not seem to be the lawyer, she's the one that's freaked out. And the one that's the AG was kind of like, throw me in the back of the car. You made a huge mistake.
Right. Attorney Turner, Shaitan Turner. This is my question. I just have always had this image of lawyers, right? Should prosecutors be held to higher moral and professional standards than the average citizen? Should she be allowed to act like this? What happened to her? Is this grounds, I'm asking, for any type of being reprimanded, her license being suspended? She's an attorney general. How significant of a role is that?
So I put on my glasses so I could look more like the image of a lawyer, but she's a public official. She has an important job. And she breached her authority when she was trying to intimidate the police officer with her title. She can face repercussions. One of them is she could be sanctioned by the Bar Association. It remains uncertain whether that's going to happen. We weren't able to find any record that has occurred already. But the thing that impressed me about this was twofold. One, it reinforced the belief that you don't try to negotiate with drunk people. Okay. Clear that both of these women were inebriated. I don't know what they did in the restaurant to get, evicted. But if you heard the maitre d', he was like, cuff him. He was over it. And so you don't often see well-to-do white people. I mean, she had a Chloe purse that was suggestive of having some style, getting kicked out of restaurants and saying, we don't want you to come back, because usually restaurants want to keep people who have money so that they spend their money in the restaurant. So they must have been super obnoxious.
Right.
So I was disappointed in the police officers because
I liked them.
No, even though people in the chat are saying that Black women wouldn't have gotten as much grace, I actually thought that they were pretty rough with them, considering all they were asking were questions. And so in my mind, the police could have responded with, when she was trying to tell him what the protocol is, he could have just listened. But every time they tried to talk, the police officer also was like, I don't need this. And so then at the end, when she goes into her Jay-Z routine, which is, what's my motherfucking name, right? So she's like, bitches better get it right. Like, she's like, this is me, right? She didn't care, because at this point,
No, Attorney Turner. No. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not the only one. But I love it when a good Karen gets checked. I love it in public opinion when a good Karen gets checked. I hate to say it, but whenever I see a Karen video on IG and that Karen ends up losing or getting beat up, I'm like, yes, finally.
I agree.
Order.
I agree.
I
agree with that.
Really quickly, I have got to say thank you so much, Colette Davis, for hitting us up with a super chat. These lawyers were beyond phenomenal tonight. I agree with you. Everybody, if you're looking for property, Colette Davis is not only a loyal viewer of ours, but I'm going to take it that she's also extremely into being knowledgeable and understanding stuff. She's a realtor licensed in Virginia. If you ever need any realty needs in the state of Virginia, hit up Colette Davis. Colette Davis, thank you so much for the super chat. We really appreciate you. All right, everybody, we're running a little bit behind on time, but when the prosecutor becomes the prosecuted and it's a Karen, to me, that's a win. That's instant karma with a legal degree. She told the cops that they'll regret it. And guess what? She had to go sit in HR. Amen. Amen. All right, everybody. This is the part of the show that we go into the verdict segment of the Court of Public Opinion. All right, jury members, that's you, the algorithms. It's time for you to deliberate. First up, and we'll go to our lawyers first. Allison Mack. Is Allison Mack, that lady that recruited those other women to get their Tootsie Cat stolen? Is she guilty or not guilty of turning pain into profit? Attorney Ashley Carter, what say you?
She's guilty of it, but it's America. She's allowed to do it.
Attorney Sean Carter?
Oh, yeah. She's guilty.
All right, Attorney Jason Weiss.
She's guilty, and I hope that the victims are getting their restitution.
All right, Attorney Turner.
She's guilty of taking lemons and making lemonade. She's doing it to try to benefit the victims.
Algorithm, drop down in the chat. I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge here, and I'm going to find her guilty. You have no right to manage other people's Tootsie's Cat. That is not your business, and you are wrong. You are guilty, as I say in this court, guilty. Lil Uzi Vert, is that man guilty or not guilty of silence and justice with settlements? Attorney Turner, what say you?
He is guilty of being very confused, and also of the things that you mentioned.
Attorney Weiss?
He is guilty of getting away with it.
All right, Attorney Carter?
He's guilty of bad and bougie employment practices.
Attorney Ashley Carter?
He's guilty of terrible hair choices, and yes,
I'm Al Reynolds, and I got one for you. I'm going to find Lil Uzi Vert not guilty. Nobody that wears that much blush is worried about another woman's Tootsie Cat. Not guilty at all. Katt Williams, is he guilty or not guilty of thriving on chaos? Attorney Weiss, what say you?
He is guilty, but he used the statute of limitations to his advantage, so good for him.
Attorney Carter, Sean Carter.
Now let me tell you something, Pippin. This court right here said that they were 3 Netflix specials too late.
Oh, I agree. Attorney Ashley Carter.
Not guilty. Little too late, as JoJo sings in the song.
All right, Attorney Turner.
He was guilty of standing on business. He survived this. Statute of limitations over. Career on the up. Go Katt Williams for president.
All right, I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court. We're going to find him not guilty of thriving on chaos, but I'm going to find him guilty of being short and causing this much chaos. Moving right along. Next up, Russell Simmons. Is he guilty or not guilty of running from accountability? I need to hear the ladies first. Attorney Ashley Carter, what say you?
Of course he's guilty for running for accountability. Pay these settlements and come on back to the United States so you can be with your children, child.
I think he's afraid if he come back, it's gonna be more lawsuits. Okay, Attorney Turner.
Russell Simmons is guilty of figuring out how to evade justice. And Diddy right now is wishing he had listened to Russell.
Attorney Weiss.
He is guilty of he needs to stay gone and just be gone and get on with his life.
Attorney Sean Carter, guilty or not guilty of running from accountability?
He's guilty of snitching on himself. We wouldn't even known that it was $11 million and 20 women. I still don't believe more than 6. All right. So I know that the point is that if you just paid your money, Russell, you could be over there in Valley pretending like you didn't do it. You did it,
All
brother.
right. I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. And I'm going to tell you what the public thinks. The public thinks you don't want to be in Valley. You definitely don't want to be in Valley over there meditating. You want to be in the United States, so I'm going to find you guilty of running from accountability. And last but not least, Prosecutor Flanagan. Is that lady guilty or not guilty of embarrassing her own badge? Let's hear from the lawyers who carry a badge. Well, I guess you don't carry a badge, but up to a badge. Attorney Turner, what say you?
She's guilty of having alcohol cockiness.
Attorney Weiss.
She is guilty, and just for the record, she was suspended for 6 months from the AG's office, but no bar action has been taken yet.
Privilege. Attorney Carter, Ashley Carter.
She's guilty of definitely being a Karen and definitely guilty of thinking she was going to get away with citing the incorrect laws to the police officers. So I'm glad they ignored her.
Attorney Sean Carter.
She's guilty of ruining a good threesome. You know how much that man spent on Top Shelf liquor to get these 2 women drunk?
You are convinced about this threesome, sir. You know what? Miss Carter, bring the camera. Put me on the main stage. Miss Carter, Miss Sean Carter, can you put on your best slip and give this man some, please? Miss Sean Carter, for all of us on the panel, please give me your man some tonight. I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm going to find Miss Flanagan guilty of white privilege, guilty of being a blonde, guilty of being a Karen, and guilty of not even knowing the law, and you're an AG. How can you be an AG and not know the law? Guilty. Put her underneath the jail and take her license. All right, that's it. Everybody else, drop your verdicts in the chat. This courtroom runs on your comments, not closing arguments. Please drop down in the chat. Everybody know, more on a serious note, tonight we saw redemption marketed, we saw justice negotiated, and we saw power questioned. From courtrooms to cults to comedy clubs, the line between innocence and influence keep getting blurrier. And believe me, with IG and TikTok, it's going to continue. So maybe the real question isn't who's guilty, it's who's good at hiding it. Because in the court of public opinion, fame is the witness, truth is on trial, and the people that are here in the algorithms, we are the judge. I'm Judge Al Reynolds, and court is adjourned until the next scandal breaks. Court is now adjourned. Thank you all for joining us tonight.